Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, April 13th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is twitch.tv/Andy Cortez.
Good morning, Blessing Jr. I gotta re-edit a thumbnail I was working on, but keep on talking, big dog.
Oh, Andy, I'm gonna keep on talking for only a few seconds because I have a question for you because I got my iced coffee from Starbucks.
Oh,
It
yeah?
reminded me about the saga we went through last week when you ordered a frap, or a frappe as the French call it, and you weren't too sure about it. Like, you ordered something, didn't know what you got, opened it up, and you're like, oh fuck, I got a frap.
It was a surprise to me. Yeah,
it was a surprise frap, which is the best kind of frap. What did you get today? Did you order Starbucks?
I ordered something today. It said coffee. I think it was in the warm section. Let me see. Let me just check on the actual
Why don't
order
you
right
pay
here.
warm
attention
section
to what you're ordering?
The warm section.
I'm a coffee novice, is what they would say, a novice. And last week, Barrett, I decided to order coffee. I was like, I haven't had coffee in ages, right? It's been a while since, I've been at the studio and Nick goes to get coffee. Hey, what do you want? Or Tim asks me, what do you want, Andy? And I just say, like, get me the thing or whatever. But I wanted to get a sweet-ish type of coffee. Jan service is fantastic, by the way. Let me thumb that up real quick. Submit, fantastic service, great delivery.
Was it DoorDash or was it a different delivery?
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats. Okay.
It says that I got a cappuccino.
Okay.
Again, when I'm ordering these things, I'm just like, I close my eyes and I just like wherever the wind takes me. Wherever the wind takes me.
So just let us make you coffee.
I mean, do you know what flavor cappuccino? Is it vanilla?
It's warm. It's a warm one though. It's not frozen this time.
One.
Yeah,
right.
We got a warm one this time. Hold on.
Oh. Yeah, and you prefer warm.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of cinnamon, which is just my vibe. I love cinnamon here.
Now, is there a reason why you prefer warm? Because I usually go iced coffee just because I don't have to savor it. I can just intake that thing and all of a sudden, boom, I'm ready for the day.
Well, I think I prefer the warm right now just because it's always chilly in my room in the morning. It is always, when it's 48 outside, it's probably going to be like, I don't know, 20 in here. That's just an estimation, right? I'm just kind of, I don't know if that's an exact temperature inside of my room, but it always gets kind of chilly. But yeah, this got a lot of cinnamon vibes to it. Okay. And I'm enjoying it so far. I like it.
I look forward to your review. I'm going to check up on you because I do want to know if you put this above the frap that you had last week.
Ooh, we'll see about that.
We'll see about that. But for now, Andy, let's talk about some video game news. Today's stories include BioShock looking for an open world designer, Sucker Punch looking for a multiplayer programmer, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/Kind of Funny Games. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, rearsteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. It's always scary doing that because you don't know what's going to happen to this desk, if it's going to fall, if my iced coffee is going to fall over and spill on my keyboard and all of a sudden make it impossible to do the show. You have no idea.
You should just get the Thor's hammer like Greg does.
That's his shtick. If I was gonna, I guess I could see if I can find a mini Captain America shield.
I mean,
you also have the Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Why does everybody have the Thor's hammer?
It's the one thing I kept when Square sent me the collector's edition thing, because I know that I enjoyed the campaign. Didn't want to play much after the campaign, and Greg said, "Take whatever you want out of there. I'm going to give the rest of it to Goldfarb," and I think that's what happened.
I don't think that's what happened. I think that's what you kept in your room, and I think the rest of it is still in the rest of our house.
Shut the freak up. No way. I thought Greg picked it up.
I don't think, like, the Hulk little figure is still in the living room. We've got the Captain America.
Speaking of which, Snowbike Mike, come pick up this fucking goddamn stupid alien from Destroy All Humans. Goddamn.
To be a part of the show, head to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you, a new episode of Gamescast is now live, and it's a full episode of Reader Mail. We answer the question, what is the Snyder Cut of gaming? If you want the answer to that, make sure to tune in to that. You can catch that on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. So that went up this morning, and then going up later today, you're going to get our live reactions to Nintendo's Indie World Showcase on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. And then you're also going to get our reactions to the new Fast 9 trailer. That'll be going up on youtube.com/kindoffunny. Andy, you just did that one, right?
We just did that. Yeah, it was a pretty packed morning. So get ready for that, because it is something.
Out of 10, where are you putting that trailer at?
Not as hype as the first one, but only because we knew the secrets, right? We knew what they were having to offer, but it's still up there in terms of entertainment factor. I feel like we watched a short movie this morning.
Thank you to our thank you to our Patreon producers, Mick at the Nanobiologist, Tom Bach, Trent Berry, and Blackjack. Today we're brought to you by Purple Mattress and Burrow, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1, BioShock 4 is looking to be an open world game. I'm pulling this from Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle. BioShock 4 will be an open world game according to a job listing for a position at development studio Cloud Chamber. One of 17 openings currently available at the studio is for a senior writer who will be charged with helping bring the world of BioShock to life once again. The job advert, spotted by PC Games N, adds, quote, "We're hoping to find someone who can weave impactful, character-driven stories in an open-world setting," end quote. While the first 2 games in the series took place in the underwater city of Rapture, and the third in the floating city of Columbia, a job advert spotted in August 2020 suggested BioShock 4 will take place in a, quote, "new and fantastical world," end quote. Another current opening for a senior technical audio designer describes the game as a, quote, "AAA narratively driven FPS project full of character and personality," end quote. Cloud Chamber is also seeking an AI programmer to, quote, "flesh out the designs and finalize the implementations for an urban crowd system and the systemic tribal ecology of a sometimes hostile AI," end quote. And it's on the lookout for a senior world designer to, quote, "combine handcrafted set pieces with emerging AI behavior to create a living world that offers players variety at every step of the game," end quote. According to Cloud Chamber's global studio head, Kelly Gilmore, the game's development team includes veterans of franchises including Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Battlefield 2. Quote, "As part of our recruiting efforts, we're looking for people from many different backgrounds and experiences," end quote. Andy, you're a fan of BioShock, correct?
Love BioShock.
Would you be down with an open world BioShock?
It seems like they're trying to do some sort of Bethesda type game here, some sort of open world with now this whole crowd enemy AI thing. I wonder what that's going to eventually lead to. But this sounds interesting as hell. I just worry, will the magic be there? Will the spirit of BioShock be there with Ken Levine not managing this whole sort of project? I mean, it seems interesting as hell. I'd love to return to the universe, whether the universe is Rapture or whether it's another version of Columbia or whatever the hell it is they're going for. I just, I don't know. It's kind of worrisome to me, Bless, whenever we start seeing listings listing the actual game that they're going to be working on. I feel like it kind of takes away the surprise a bit. I feel like it kind of takes away that sort of excitement, knowing that, like, holy shit, dude, this is, if we just got this brand new BioShock announcement in 2 or 3 years, that would be amazing. But seeing all this stuff, knowing that there's something kind of, it's been in the works for a while. They've been trying to make a new BioShock for a while. It kind of takes away the excitement a bit for me. But I mean, I would love to hop back into that world and see what an open world type BioShock game could look like, especially if they're trying to go for all of the sort of personality that the old BioShocks had with all their different characters and bosses. And I think that world is it's full of life,
Yeah, it seems really ambitious, which is the biggest thing here for me. Like, I'm right there with you that this does take out some of the steam out of when we finally get the announced game, and it does say open world in the splash screen or whatever the buzz terms are. Yeah, I do like the idea that they are going for something that is completely different, but still seems like it's going to try and stay true to what BioShock is, because it mentions, right, like stuff like AI behavior, right, like that. I mean, BioShock and BioShock Infinite, I think those games handled AI behavior really well, whether it was the crazy enemies that you get from the first couple of BioShock games, or even how Elizabeth behaved in BioShock Infinite. Like all that stuff was super impressive, I think, at the time. And the fact that it seems like they're trying to double down on those aspects of the game, I think speaks to them trying to stay true. But then them talking about the personality of BioShock, them talking about trying to make a game that is stylistically doing something that goes for it. I think that sounds really cool. Them going for an open world is surprising, a weird step, but also I think could be really cool if they're able to pull it off. To me, that almost sounds, when you're talking about BioShock, you're talking about a game that feels reactive to how you play. I feel like I compare every game to this at some point, but I mean, it's going to happen. It reminds me of Breath of the Wild a little bit of, like you're going through the world and the world reacts to how you play, right? Or maybe even bring a cyberpunk into it, where cyberpunk, I felt like could have doubled down on this stuff more, but the idea of you're walking through this world, right, and playing through this world where it feels like it's living and breathing, and the actions that you take in the world changes how the world operates. Like,
and sees you, maybe.
Yeah, and sees you, right? And that's something that I was hoping that a game like Cyberpunk would have done more, and didn't. And I don't think we ended up getting much out of that game. I would like to see a BioShock tackle that, because I think that does feel ambitious, that does feel fresh, that does feel new.
I think what they could do with not only the guns, but also the powers that you end up getting, whether it's your vigor or whatever the hell they're going to call it in this game, I like the idea of having this sort of almost like rage type playground to mess around with enemies in more hostile areas, and test out this new rare vigor that not only floats them up, but then slams them down, and then it freezes them, and you can shoot them with this other cool gun that then explodes them and create, like, I think they could have a very reactive sort of take on combat in this one, and can go a little bit further with it, especially with, people, I don't want to generalize and say people love their looter shooters, but I love getting that blue. If I can get that blue and then see the purple vigor over there, be like, oh shit, that's a purple one. What does this one do?
Do more damage,
oh, I can upgrade this to make this gun do. I'm not saying I want like a looter shooter, but I'm saying that, that could. They have to differentiate themselves in some way, right? You can't try to just make another BioShock and have it compared to the old ones, because the old ones are so damn good, and it's hard to do that for a new studio taking up this franchise. So I think you have to put your own twist on it, and I think making it open world and having these spawns of NPCs could, be different enough from the old ones,
But my thing there though is like the audience. I don't think the audience reaction would be good for that, because like I know you're not saying you want it to be a looter shooter, but like that is definitely like looter shooter elements, and if BioShock were to like turn into that, like I don't think audiences would be happy.
I think it's one step further though. You don't have to call it that, but you take it an extra step, because in Infinite you have all these different power sets. You have the fire thing, you have the murder of crows.
Right. In
a way, those are just different power sets.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you can level up the murder of crows and go a different way. Like, it all depends on how you frame it, right? I think it all comes down to how you tell the audience what this game is going to be. Similar to, like, I think the game has to speak for itself, right? I always think of the example of, if you told me that EA was making a free-to-play battle royale where you can buy stuff and battle passes and things like that, I would have said, fuck no, dude, what a disaster this is going to be. But it was Apex Legends, and it had everything. It could have failed in so many different ways just based on how they were wording what this game's going to be. But I think if they present it and say, BioShock fans, you're going to love this. It's the world you're used to. It is a lot of the personality and quirks of the dialogue that you love having with these weird NPCs and crazy cool bosses, but we're going to add a little bit of a twist on it. And I think you just have to sort of modernize it in a way.
I find it difficult that I think whenever they announce this game, I'm sure whatever fan reaction is going to be won't be entirely favorable, just because BioShock is a franchise that means so much to so many people.
Right.
And it is going to be very difficult and nearly impossible to actually live up to how people feel about BioShock 1. Like, even if you go on to make a better game than BioShock 1, there will still be those people that are like, oh yeah, but this isn't the first few though. Like, this doesn't carry the same energy, especially if you're moving open world. People are inherently going to have issues with that.
Right.
And
I think it's sort of like Phantom Pain. I think it's like,
that was the exact example I was going to bring up.
Changing the whole vibe, and the main sort of criticism being this isn't Metal
This is
Gear.
Metal Gear,
Right.
Yeah, like
and I mean,
we're
and
not,
to be
we don't
fair,
have the
like,
same sort of systems that we're
and
used
like
to.
Infinite already kind of dealt with that too, though. Is that
Correct.
like
Yeah.
a lot of people, it was like it felt more like a first-person shooter than more of like a almost like a survival horror game, almost in a way, right? So
But it was so good. It was so good.
yeah, it was. I mean, I loved
What a
Infinite,
good
but
ass
then
game
there
Infinite is.
there are also plenty of people that do not like Infinite, right? Whether it be because of
Exactly.
narrative or whether it be because it feels like an action game. And so them moving BioShock to open world kind of gives me that same feel of, yeah, this is not going to be for every single BioShock fan, but maybe they're still able to make something fresh and something that feels special. And to your point earlier, Barrett, them moving the game to open world or them trying to create an open world BioShock means that inherently they're going to have to make a game with open world sensibilities, which is going to rub people the wrong way. Like
Yep.
to what Andy's saying, right? I could see it being a thing of, hey, because it's open world, we got to figure out a way to gamify this a little bit more when it comes to either vigors or your guns or something. So it feels like a natural open world game, because in open world games now you are collecting new gear, you're collecting new abilities, you're leveling up abilities and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, and
I
sorry,
mean, even
I'm
probably-
bringing in this like a kind of side. Like I really like Infinite. I think Infinite's my favorite. I just wanted to bring in that other side because I know there are like BioShock fans out there who are like didn't love Infinite and like really want the new game to kind of go back to its original elements. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up.
Barrett,
For
you
sure.
could probably speak to the RPGification of Assassin's Creed and how that franchise sort of changed a lot towards the end. So I think this is something sort of similar, except for the fact that the two games people love the most, BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite, were headed up by Ken Levine, and those were his babies. So I like, not to say that I think Assassin's Creed has had a bunch of different fathers and mothers, you know,
but Assassin's Creed doesn't have like no one like ties like a specific director, because I think it was like the same director for like the first like handful of games, and then it started like moving different studios and director heads and shit like that. But like no one like it's not on the same level of like Ken Levine is part of BioShock.
I think it could be like MGS6 without Kojima, you know, like whether or not they change the core gameplay and they try to expand on the story. I think the fact that the sort of the brainchild behind all of it is not the one heading it up will already kind of make the fans be a little bit hesitant towards what the game might be.
But
I'm stoked.
I also think that is why you do something different that isn't, because I don't expect this to be Rapture, because them hiring for an open world game, I don't know how you
don't want to talk to beluga whales.
I guess you could turn Rapture, or I guess you could go back to Rapture and just make those hallways way more explorable, even though like the game already has like a high level of exploration in it, but I guess you can expand that. But I don't think that speaks to open world. I think you're going to go somewhere else. I think you're going to do something
I
completely
think
different.
it's going to be a new world that we go into.
For sure. Let's continue on this job list train with story number 2. Sucker Punch is hiring for a multiplayer game. This is Matt Purslow at IGN. Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch is working on a new project that it describes as a, quote, spectacular multiplayer game, end quote. The news arrives in the form of a job advertisement on Sucker Punch's job recruitment website. The developer is seeking a multiplayer/network programmer to join its team in Bellevue, Washington. Quote, our talented multiplayer designers create awesome game team experiences, and you'll be pivotal in bringing that creativity to life in a spectacular multiplayer game, reads the job description. Little more can be inferred from the role's description and requirements. No mention is made of what form of multiplayer game is being worked on, and so we can't ascertain at this stage if the project is PvE co-op or PvP. All other details presented are fairly standard discussion of programming for online multiplayer. That is the end of the news story, and this is where I'm going to jump in and say they're definitely hiring for Ghost of Tsushima Legends 2. Probably. I don't know what else they're going to be working on.
I think just based on the amount of success they found for that, right? I mean, the amount of love that Legends got, just looking at social media and people saying, wow, like we're seeing all these multiplayer games come out and flounder and not do great and not understand the systems they should be sort of prioritizing. And Sucker Punch, who made a phenomenal single player game, also made a multiplayer game, and it is sort of a Destiny style raid, and it's amazing. And they understood exactly what needed to, be prioritized, and how to
came
just
out.
make a looter game, you know?
It came out around the same time as Avengers, the Avengers game, and
Right.
it did that stuff better than the Avengers game, which is like it had a ping system at the very least, right? Which Avengers didn't have, and yeah, like the looting, the leveling up, the gear system all worked really well, and it had fantastic raids, like or a fantastic raid at the end
Right.
of it, which was like when we talk about the last news story and talk about how yeah, if you told me that they're making an open world Metal Gear Solid game, it's easy for me to hear that and go, all right, we'll see about that, right? Or if you told me they're making an open world BioShock, I could easily understand people going, all right, I don't know about that, but we'll see. Ghost of Tsushima Legends kind of has that same energy where you tell me that they're making a multiplayer gear driven Ghost of Tsushima game, and it's easy to go, all right, I guess. And then you play Legends and it's like, fuck, this is really good. And to your point, Legends was very successful in terms of reception for it.
Yeah.
I still think, I don't know if I'd say it was a mistake bundling it in with Ghost of Tsushima proper, because that's probably an easy thing to do in terms of it working on the same bones as Ghost of Tsushima and also getting it into people's hands. Because I think if they
that's the point. That's the point right there. Getting it in people's hands.
If they charged people for Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I don't think it would have the same amount of playership for it. But I think it worked out in their favor, because Ghost of Tsushima Legends now I think works as a good testing bed to see, all right, what is interest in it? Like, are people enjoying it? Like, is this something that people would want more of? And I think that test worked out well, where them hiring for a new multiplayer game speaks to, all right, yeah, we got to make more of this. And so I hope
totally.
my big hope is that we get a Ghost of Tsushima 2 followed by Ghost of Tsushima Legends 2, and it is a separate thing or a free to play thing, or like I hope they find a way to make them both stand as their own products that are both thriving, because Legends from that we just got was awesome, but I wouldn't say it was thriving, right? Like, talk about it died a little bit afterwards because it wasn't live and because it was bundled in with Tsushima and all this other stuff, and I think hype for it wasn't as high because it was announced on the PlayStation blog as opposed to an E3 kind of thing. Them doing it, them working on the next one, I think is going to be bigger for it, which has me super excited.
I think it's exactly what it needed to be, was this bundled thing that if it was tacked on and added on that you needed to spend $15 for or $10 for, I think less people would have tried it. And the fact that it was free and the fact that everybody who played it seemed to kind of unanimously love it, I think that's the perfect sort of test bed to say, yeah, let's do this again. And a lot of studios do this where, hey, we need to work on Ghost of Tsushima 2 in the future. What are we going to do in the meanwhile to get there, right? Like, studios and publishers always kind of want something in the meantime to generate revenue and put that towards development towards the new game. And studios do this all the time. We saw it with Bleeding Edge, which, unfortunately didn't do that great, but Bleeding Edge is kind of the perfect example to say, well, we're going to need some time and money to generate to go towards Senua's Sacrifice 2 or whatever, Hellblade 2. Let's make something in the meantime just to kind of, build our portfolio. Mostly a lot of smaller studios do that, where they want to make their big thing, but they have to also get contracted out to work on maps for Halo or maps for Call of Duty or whatever. But yeah, this is awesome. This is great news, and I would love for it to not be Ghost of Tsushima related. I would love for it to be sort of built on the same framework and be a sort of looter type third person game. But, if it isn't Ghost of Tsushima related, I think that's even more exciting for me. I would like to see what just because I trust them at this point. You trust them to make something good and quality. So that's sick as hell. Everybody go apply. Should we apply, Bless?
I'm down to apply. I mean, I don't have any technical ability. I guess I could be a producer and just help out.
I know my time. I can do times tables and
like I can do that.
I can't
shit.
do long
artist,
division
right?
anymore.
You can work on art.
I can, yeah. I can make a couple rocks and maybe a door.
Like Ghost of Tsushima art seems like it'd be a fun project to work on.
Oh, for sure.
Because
absolutely.
Legends especially has really dope visuals and really dope imagery when it comes to trying to separate it out and being a more fantastical, mystical thing. It's fucking dope. And also, I'll go for it.
No, I was just gonna say something really stupid and pointless. Go ahead.
To your earlier point about like having a project to work on or having like a side thing that people can get invested in, right? I think another example of that is something like Fallout 76 or even something like Youngblood. Also games that did not pan out the way that those developers wanted to, but I think there was a kernel of a good idea there for both things when you're talking about Fallout, especially. Like, when is the next Fallout game we're gonna get? not for a while. Like the next game for Bethesda Game Studios proper is going to be Starfield, and after that, it's going to be Elder Scrolls, which means that Fallout is a long way away. I think there was a valid idea there in terms of, hey, let's put out a Fallout game that lives in perpetuity that we're going to keep updating and that'll get people invested in Fallout as an IP while we're working on other shit at the same time.
Yeah.
And Youngblood could have been that also of, hey, let's put out something that people are going to play consistently and come back to, and that'll live through updates or however they continue to patch it, that people will play while that'll hold them over until the next Wolfenstein game. Like, I think there's something very valuable in that idea, and I could easily see Legends 2 being the case of that, where it is Ghost of Tsushima proper, or Ghost of Tsushima 2 comes out, boom, it's a banger. 6 months to a year later, we put out Legends 2, and we continue to update it and keep people hyped and excited about Ghost of Tsushima, and then that'll then lead into a few years later where we finally put out Ghost of Tsushima 3. I think there's validity in that idea, and I think you could also see Naughty Dog doing the same thing in terms of Last of Us multiplayer whenever that finally comes out. God, give it to me.
We'll see about that.
You know what, Andy? Speaking of that, let's move on to story number 3. Naughty Dog says it's struggling with multi-project development. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. Naughty Dog's co-president has said that The Last of Us studio is still struggling to fully implement a multi-project development strategy, and revealed that it currently has several games stuck in pre-production. The PlayStation developer first attempted to embrace a multi-project model following the completion of 2009's Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, with designers Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann establishing a second team to create The Last of Us, alongside the group working on a third Uncharted. However, Evan Wells told the AIAS in a new Game Maker's Notebook podcast transcribed by VGC that Naughty Dog was ultimately unable to maintain 2 full productions, with one project inevitably gaining favor and pulling resources from the other, and it's an issue the studio still struggles with today. Quote, the amount of effort that was required to finish Uncharted 3 at the time was stealing resources away from The Last of Us, and we never got to the point where we had two full productions going. I would say even today, we're just short of that. We definitely have multiple projects, but only one that is getting the lion's share of focus at any time. We don't have 2 projects that several hundred people. We don't have 2 projects that have several hundred people on them. We have one project and then some that are in pre-production, or maybe just creeping out of pre-production. But we'll have to wait until the main focus has completed before we move everybody off of that project, end quote. And so basically, I think that the moral of the story here is, I imagine multiplayer Last of Us is next, and then Last of Us Remake is probably far off.
Whew.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that. I would have assumed the opposite, but yeah, that's definitely seems like the reality now, which is, man, but I wonder, what sort of team they have working on the multiplayer, because the multiplayer seems like such a thing that you would contract out. That doesn't seem like an in-house sort of thing. You might have in-house people leading the project, and you might have, in-house producers and a couple of people leading and saying this is how the art should be and these are the assets you should be using. But the multiplayer for Last of Us, which I know has a hardcore audience, I know that like the hardest of hardcore love it.
Oh yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there in it. Like, I love Last of Us multiplayer.
But I don't think it's going to be this massive thing, right? And that just doesn't seem like, putting a lot of resources towards a multiplayer project for The Last of Us, which let me repeat again, I know people love it, but I just don't see it being like this banger that's going to come out and just absolutely destroy in the charts and with playtime and with concurrent players. That seems like something that would be contracted out, similar to how, Call of Duty says, hey, we're going to remake Modern Warfare 2. It's not going to be Infinity Ward, and it's not going to be, at the time, Treyarch. We're going to contract it out to this other third-party studio. Damn, I hadn't even considered The Last of Us remake being that far away.
Yeah. Well, there are a few people in chat, right, that are saying like, well, this is how most developers work. And then there's also another comment saying, what's wrong with one game at a time? And to be clear, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't think this is a this isn't a bad story for Naughty Dog, right? I think if anything, this is an open and honest thing of Evan, the co-president there, saying, "Hey, like, yeah, it's always been a struggle working
Game
on
making
multiple
is hard,
projects
man.
at a time. Making video games is hard, and the reason why this is a story for us is it's an easy thing to extrapolate that. Hey, don't expect back to back games from Naughty Dog. Don't expect that Last of Us remake and multiplayer." The multiplayer game that they're working on, and maybe the next new IP or whatever the next big project is that they're going to work on after The Last of Us Part 2 is all in development concurrently, right? Like for us, this story is a story of be patience, right? Like expect one thing at a time. Expect that they're putting all their efforts into one game at a time. And I like as a developer, like that is a very reasonable thing.
Question: they said they're having trouble specifically with stuff that's in pre-production, right? Or did I miss something else where they're just
they didn't
struggling?
necessarily say they're having trouble with things that are in pre-production. I think the exact sentiment is the struggle is working on multiple games at a time, and so we're having
full power on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so we can't have hundreds of people working on multiple shit. We have hundreds of people working on one thing, and then another thing has to sit in pre-production for now until we get back to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Game development's crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I just always want to be a fly on the wall for these executive meetings of what if we remake The Last of Us Part 1? Like, how does that question even get proposed? You know, who's the first one?
In the Schreier article, like it very much in the Schreier article, the exact story is they're like, it wasn't Naughty Dog, right? It was Mumbar's studio that was the spinoff San Diego studio, and they were like, cool, we want to start making our own games. How do we convince Sony to give us that boost, right? What do we have to present to them? And somebody was like, hey, let's fucking remake Uncharted. Like remakes are easier to make. Remakes are less expensive. Let's fucking do Uncharted. And somebody was like, that's too expensive because that'll take a lot of work to remake. Let's remake The Last of Us. And everybody was like, all right, yeah, sure, why not? Like that's what it seems like, which again, the idea of it bums me out because that is very much a numbers on a page. That is very much a computer algorithmic decision. Right, let's remake The Last of Us because we know it'll sell and because it'll be cheaper to make than any older
no-brainer
PlayStation game. No brainer, but
man.
Creatively just
Uncharted
feels so bankrupt.
would be so amazing.
I mean, like
I want it so badly.
Then here's the question, then, because I feel like a lot of course, like Uncharted 1 is older, and of course, like updating that would be more expensive graphically. But then you'd have to like also focus on like a lot of remaking gameplay elements because that game just mechanically just doesn't hold up. So like,
wait, which game? Uncharted.
Uncharted 1. And
okay.
So like, do we actually expect them to really change the gameplay for The Last of Us if they maybe think of it as like a cheaper project that they can kind of work on?
I think so, only because the tech would just be a tiny bit more updated, and I think it would. I mean, this is me speaking out of my ass, but you're talking about reworking code from 2008 as opposed to 20 or shit. No, I mean that's when Uncharted came out, or it came out in 07, right?
Uncharted 1, I think it was 07, yeah.
So like, yeah, we're talking about code that was started in 04 or 05 or whenever. As opposed to code that was started in, well, shit, I guess The Last of Us did take a long time to make as well. I don't know. I feel like it would be
came out in 2013.
I feel like it would be a quicker process to try to make and modernize The Last of Us as opposed to Uncharted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And also to your earlier point about the multiplayer and how you would imagine that would work, right? Like part of that earlier news story too was that Ben's studio was brought in to work assistance for The Last of Us multiplayer, and so like it seems like things have been getting shifted all around in terms of Naughty Dog and the projects and PlayStation first party and who's working on it and who's not working on it. I don't expect we'll see multiplayer soon. Is kind of where I'm at. Like I hope we do because I really want it, but it seems like to our point earlier, making video games are hard. And it seems like they're in that place where they're like, fuck it, man. We just got to focus on one thing and see if we can get it out at a certain point, but also get it out and make quality.
What's my source on all this stuff for game development? Former game developer. All right, everybody, shove it.
Hell yeah.
Fucking shove it, dude.
Hell yeah.
3 years, dog. I did my time, dog. I fucking did my time, bro.
Andy's so talented.
Jeez Louise, come on.
Before we enter our next news story, I want to tell you about our sponsors, of course. You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by Purple Mattress. As the world becomes increasingly uncomfortable, we're all looking for as much comfort as we can get. The one thing you can always count on is how comfortable your Purple mattress is. That's because Purple is comfort reinvented. Only Purple has the Grid, a stretchy gel material that's amazingly supportive for your back and legs, while cushioning your shoulders, necks, and hips. I don't know how it does it, it's just fantastic. Because of how it's designed, the Grid doesn't trap air. Air actually circulates and flows through it, so you'll never overheat. I love that this ad copy says, I don't know how it does it, it's just fantastic. But also, this is how it does it. It's designed with the Grid. The Grid bounces back as you move and shift, unlike memory foam, which remembers everything. That's why memory foam has craters and divots. Kind of Funny loves Purple mattress. Joey Noelle herself sleeps like a baby on the one she has. She says it's nice and soft. And right now, you can try your Purple mattress risk-free with free shipping and returns. Financing is available too. Purple is comfort for an uncomfortable world. Right now, you'll get 10% off any order of $200 or more. Go to purple.com/games10 and use promo code games10. That's purple.com/games10, promo code games10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/games10, promo code games10, terms apply. We're also brought to you by Burrow. Finding new furniture is always a hassle, whether it's finding what's right, getting it delivered, or the setup itself. Most of us haven't found our forever home, which makes buying furniture a double-edged sword. You're either buying some cheap futon that you'll just leave out on the curb someday, or you're investing in an expensive sofa that might last forever, but definitely becomes a pain in the butt when it's time to move. You'd think someone would have figured out how to create quality furniture built for the way we actually live, wherever we live. Well, someone has. Burrow. Burrow makes it easy to shop for everything you need for your living room online. No far-flung warehouses, no high-pressure salespeople. Plus, Burrow's world-class support team is available for you whenever you need. Burrow's innovative modular design and super helpful instructions make assembling and disassembling your furniture quick and hassle-free. And when it's time to move, your Burrow furniture won't hold you back. Their credenzas are actually tall enough to fit next-gen consoles standing vertically. Their award-winning Nomad sofa has a built-in USB charger for all-day power. Burrow saves you an average of $100 on large items like a couch and a logistics headache. Right now, you can get $75 off your first order at burrow.com/games. That's Burrow, BURROW.com/games for $75 off your Burrow purchase. Burrow.com/games. Andy, what is up with your coffee? I need your review. Is it better or worse than the frap you had last week?
I mean, it's tough to say, Bless, and here's why. Because I'm looking at this from the health versus taste perspective, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Health-wise, much better, right? I think it's about a third of the calories than the Frappuccino. The Frappuccino, way sweeter, way tastier, but I would rather have this over the Frappuccino. I think the Frappuccino got me a little too jacked up that morning. It took about a week to recover, unfortunately. But yeah, I think this is definitely working out for me. Almond milk, of course, lactose intolerant, cinnamon powder, one pump cinnamon dolce. So yeah, I'm definitely digging this quite a bit. Good job, Starbucks.
Here's the thing I'll say about Starbucks iced coffee, the one I'm usually getting, right? I feel like I said in an episode before that Starbucks coffee is consistent. Always tastes the same, which is why I appreciate it. I feel like in terms of caffeine, might not be as consistent because some days I still feel dead after I drink the iced coffee. And then you have days like today where when I started off the show, I saw somebody in chat immediately be like, "Is Blessing on crack? What's going on?" And let me tell you, it's the coffee. I'm jacked up. Like it has the blood pumping.
I mean, it's like every once in a while you get that little pack of nuggets and there's 2 extra in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dude was having a good day too and was like, you know what, I want to pass on this good day. Here's 2 extra nugs. Here's an extra little thing of caffeine or whatever. Yeah. I don't know how coffee works. Do you buy bottles of caffeine and just like dump it in? What do you do?
See, my favorite is when you go to Sonic Drive-In, the fast food restaurant, and you order tater tots. You order tater tots, and at the bottom of it, a couple fries just left over. A couple fries, and it's always a nice treat.
It's the old onion ring with the Burger King fries sort of thing. By the way, Bless, how do you feel about cherry lime?
Oh, love it. Right? I mean, anything that has limeade in the title, sign me up. I'm fucking out of town.
I mean, that's a Sonic delicacy right there.
Wait, Barrett, you don't like limeade?
Barrett doesn't like cherry limeade. Neither does Nick Scarpino. What is
how? How do you not like limeade? Oh, when it makes your when it makes your face go the same way it goes when you hear a dope ass rap beat, right? And you go like that. That's the best. That's the best feeling right there.
God, it's the
you
best,
know
dude.
that sour face.
Nothing
That
like
sour
summer.
face.
Nothing like summer going down to the local Sonic. Blessed, did your Sonics, by the way, have volleyball court? Have a volleyball court?
No, wait, did your Sonics have volleyball courts in
Yeah,
them?
so there's one
What?
back home in McAllen, Texas, or maybe it's far. I forget exactly where that Sonic's located. But they have like a volleyball court, and it's like full sand. And of course, there's also a little play place in case you have little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
But
did your
yeah, it's just-
what? Wait, did your Sonic have like a? Was it indoor the play place or was
No,
it
no,
outside?
no, no, no. No, it
Andy, that
all
was just
outdoors.
a park. That was a park.
That was just a park right
that
next
was
to
next
you.
to the Sonic.
No, dude, it was all Sonic. Like, I'm pretty sure it was all like Sonic, and there was a Best Buy next to it too. I assume that's Sonic branded as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that y'all actually had Sonics because, like, growing up in Ohio, I swear, like, Sonic had the most commercials in the Cleveland area.
Those two dudes.
But then there wasn't a Sonic at all in our area, and it was the
Really?
most confusing thing.
Ah, damn,
Andy,
that's
did your
unfortunate.
Sonic? Did they do the rollerblades where they would deliver your food while wearing rollerblades? They would skate to
Man,
your car.
I don't remember. There was a place called Stars that was very
Mm-hmm.
similar to Sonic, and I think they had rollerblades. I don't know if everybody at Sonic did the rollerblading thing. I definitely remember rollerblades being involved. And
Yeah, they
like,
my Sonic used to, but I think sometime in like 2009
They lost the
got
passion.
lazy. They lost the
Yeah.
passion. They're like, fuck it, we're walking this shit to
It's
your car.
unfortunate.
Ordering at Sonic was always awesome though, because you would park, you would press the button, and that always felt super cool. You would press the button, and then they'd be like, "What's up? What do you want?" And I'd be like, "Oh, give me the cherry limeade, but also put the nerds at the bottom. Put the nerds candy at the bottom of
Whoa.
it. Yeah, and it was fucking fire every single time.
I was always awkward because you'd park next to somebody else, and maybe there was a family and a little kid looking at you, and he was like poking his nose, and it's like, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not your friends. I don't want to like.
A lot
put
of
the window
a lot
up.
of
I don't
people
want-
in chat are saying, yeah, same. We had Sonic commercials, but we didn't have any Sonics near us. So weird. I just
You
figured
missed
that
out.
like it was like only a commercial. I didn't. At one point I didn't believe that it was a real place.
That makes sense why you aren't into cherry limeade, because I think that's like a rite of passage. You
Also,
could've cherry
other people in the
limeade.
chat were
1000%.
saying that the cherry limeade at Sonic was subpar. They like cherry limeade, but the one at Sonic is subpar.
Fucking ban
Somebody
all
said
of
it's a choking hazard to have the nerds in the bottom of the cup, and you know what? It's worth it. If I had to choose how I'm gonna die, it would be that way. It would be choking on a nerd's candy that I had sucked out of a Sonic drink. That sounds fucking fire. Andy, I mentioned earlier that it's always nice when you get that nice surprise at the bottom of the Sonic tater tots, and there's a fry in there. You know what else has some nice surprises in it?
Tell me.
The PlayStation 5 update that went live this morning. I'm pulling from Tom Warren at The Verge. Sony's new PS5 software update is live now and includes some surprise improvements to HDR and 120 Hz support. While Sony already detailed a big new feature to let players store but not play PS5 games on an external hard drive, there's also a new option to automatically switch video output to non-HDR when you're using a game or app that doesn't support HDR. This is a key improvement for those using HDR on the PS5, as it now means you no longer have to dig into the settings menu to manually disable HDR when you're viewing SDR content.
Good job.
Alongside these HDR changes, this update also adds 2 new HDMI controls in the system part of the PS5 settings menu. You can now toggle One Touch Play, which will automatically turn on a connected TV when you power up a PS5 and switch it to the correct input. You can also toggle Power Off Link, which allows the PS5 to enter rest mode if you turn off the TV connected to your console. Sony is also supporting more PC monitors with 120 Hz in this update. If you have a 1080p PC monitor that supports 120 Hz, it should now work at this refresh rate with the PS5. Unfortunately, variable refresh rate support is still missing on the PS5 though. This latest software update also includes better options for quickly disabling in-game chat, thank God, an option to search for purchased games, thank God, and the ability to hide games in a library. I'm all about this update. This update sounds awesome. Andy, I was sleeping this morning as one does, right?
Sure.
I was in bed, comfortable, having a great old time, dreaming about whatever. All of a sudden, a fucking flashing light woke me up before my alarm, and I was very pissed off. What had happened was my PS5 got the update pushed. PS5 turned all the way on to the point where the light was blue and the disc was spinning loudly enough to where that also partly woke me up. But that also triggered my monitor that it's hooked up to. And so it turned fully on in my dark ass room while I was asleep. And let me tell you, I've never been more pissed off by my console.
Blessing, do you not actually like turn the off button on your monitor? You just like let it go into sleep mode?
I never turn off my monitors.
No, because it's just like it's a standby, right? When you just leave it and it turns off by itself.
Off, yeah. I just usually leave mine off. Now,
you turn your monitor fully off every time.
Yeah, man.
I will say what I'm mostly shocked by is the idea that your PS5 even automatically updated. That's the more surprising thing to me. The fact that it did it on its own. You know what?
You're absolutely right. That is awesome.
Because I feel like 99% of people, maybe it's just me generalizing, but I always have these automatic updates back on the PS4 Pro.
Yep.
I haven't really turned on my PS5 in a while, but the amount of times that I'd be like, oh, it should have automatically downloaded the update because I have everything set to automatic, and it just would never work. So shout out to your PS5 actually doing what it says it's supposed to do. That's pretty neat.
I wonder why technically they just can't do that update in rest mode. Like, one, it automatically closed the game that I think I had open, which I'm fine with. I'd save just whatever. I was playing Disco Elysium. But the fact that I had to turn fully on to get that updated, like, I'm not complaining too much aside from the fact that it woke me up before my fucking alarm. But I wonder why that is. I wonder why I can't just do it in rest mode.
Well, shout out to them for the ease of use, for not having to go all the way to the system settings to change your HDR support. That's amazing. The next thing I want, Sony, you listening out there? Where you at, Sony? You listening?
Tell me, Andy.
Jim Ryan has this on in his car. He has it on full volume.
Say what I want.
He's sipping from a Sonic cup.
Say what I want you to say, Andy.
Hey, JR, little J-Rye. Whenever I plug in the HDMI into a monitor or into an Elgato, I want it to pop up and say, hey, you have HDCP on. Do you want me to turn it off? Cool,
yeah,
I will.
that'd be dope.
Turn it off. Or, hey, it's off right now. Do you want me to turn it back on? I have to if you want to watch Netflix. Don't make me go all the way to the fucking system setting, because that's about a 3-day journey, right? I don't have time for that, Bless. I don't got time, all right? Just pop up with the option, HDCP, yes or no? No? Okay, cool. Bam, off.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yeah? Cool, on. Back on again.
Also, while we're making demands, because this is what I thought you were going to say, Andy, is give us that 1440p support. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, Jesus.
When I'm over here bringing my PS5 over to like my workstation and I'm streaming at night and I've got my 1440p monitor right here and my PS5 is plugged in, like I want that full 1440p. You know what I'm saying?
You're usually only showing me 1440p anyway, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just do it.
When I'm doing performance mode, you're showing me 1440p as it is, or sometimes you're doing the 1440p, but it's, up-res to 4K or whatever. Let me do 4K. Let me do 1440p. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah. While we're here airing our grievances, I have a couple. PlayStation, Jim Ryan, I know you're listening. You're sipping from your Sonic cup. You're about to choke on a nerd, but I'm sure you're going to live through it. You're going to be okay. Please
a
nerd
candy, by the way.
A nerd candy, not an actual nerd.
It's just
please make it easier to turn off the PS5 quicker and leave parties quicker. It's so awkward when I say bye to somebody that I'm playing Outriders with, and it takes me 10 seconds to figure out how to go into my menus, right? I press the one button to bring up the bottom menu, have to go over to game base, have to enter the party, have to enter the voice party, and then figure out how to leave. It's too awkward because I said bye 10 seconds ago, but I'm still here.
And in those last 10 seconds, Kevin's like, one more
game, Barrett. So that's one. That's one. Two, let me turn off my PS5 quicker. 2 button presses is all it should take, right? Just two. Press the PlayStation button. Maybe you have that first option B, turn off, turn on, press X, and then just like a confirmation. Do you want to turn off your PS5? Yes. Make it easy so I can do it quicker, because I don't like scrolling all the way to the right to turn off my PS5. And then number 3, when I am turning off my PS5, just an option that says, do you want to safely disconnect your external hard drive? Because if I'm turning off my PS5, naturally I don't want my external hard drive to just fucking just automatically do its shit, right? So when I turn back on my PS5, it tells me, hey, you didn't do this correctly. Do you want us to rebuild all that bullshit? No, just naturally just ask me, or just do it automatically. Disconnect it the right way. Those are my demands.
And while we're at it, release Solar Ash already. What are you waiting for?
You know what, man? And give me another gameplay trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
You know
Come
what I mean?
on, man.
Like, what's happening,
Where's
Sony?
God of
What's
War?
happening?
Where are themes for PS5? Give us folders.
Give me
Come
the
on.
real release date for God of War. We all know that it's not coming out this year. Just tell us the
Just
month.
tell us it's
maybe.
2022, all right?
Just tell us 2022. Just say fall, say summer 2022. We'll be right there with you.
You listening, JR?
We'll understand.
I hope you're
JR.
listening.
Let's move on to story number 5. We got a couple of quick hits for the next couple of news stories. Story number 5, E3 has announced the media partners that it'll be working with. This comes directly from a press release that they emailed out this morning. E3 today announced it has joined forces with IGN, Future Games, that is PC Gamer and Games Radar, GameSpot, Polygon, IGN China, and Game Bonfire to extend its reach to video game fans worldwide, with additional media and distribution partners to be announced. E3 2021 will provide an unmatched experience with new levels of access for fans around the globe, with major publisher showcases, press conferences, thrilling reveals, extended live streams, and special guest appearances available free online for all attendees. Quote, we are focused on ensuring that E3 continues to be the most innovative and collaborative event in the video games industry. So, enlisting some of the industry's biggest media partners to help deliver the highly anticipated news, reveals, and more is crucial to a successful showcase, said Stanley Pierre-Louis, president and CEO of the ESA. Pierre-Louis continues, each media partner will be instrumental in driving E3's reach to more fans than ever before. With this year's digital format, we're looking to provide our audiences with exciting and unique ways to experience the magic of E3, end quote. Go get him, ESA. This is good news. I'm happy to see that it seems like they are able to kind of pull this shit together and make E3 something that's worth tuning into this year, because I was scared for him. I wasn't feeling so confident about E3.
I think
Just
a lot
few
of
months
us
ago.
were kind of worried, yeah. But, next year we'll be there in person.
Yeah.
Me, you, Bless, up on the main stage.
Wow.
Finally.
What are you
On the
guys,
main stage? For
announcing?
who?
What are you guys announcing?
What are we announcing?
Yeah.
Ooh, wouldn't you like to know, Bear?
Shit, dude, I really would.
Wouldn't
Jeff
you
Grubb
like
in the
to
chat
know?
is really upset that he's not a partner for the Summer Games mess, like that he didn't get partnered with the ESA or something. And I told him, this is what happens when you try to make fun of the youths, old man.
Yeah, no, Jeff Grubb is too busy. He's busy on Twitter trying to make fun of
Jeff
people,
Grubb,
people under the age of 25.
Jeff Grubb,
Jeff
I didn't know
Grubb,
they.
you
I didn't know they had the Twitch app on the BlackBerry phone. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ.
Jeff Grubb, I didn't know they had Wi-Fi at Cracker Barrel. How are you talking to us right now? That's fucking crazy.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit. Hope you enjoy bingo. Story number 6. Nintendo Indie World Showcase happened this morning. We got some of the biggest headlines. When I say biggest headlines, it's pretty much all the headlines. I got a quick recap for you. It started off with Road 96, which is a procedural narrative game from Didix Art that's coming out later this year. We got Aerial Knights Never Yield, a rhythm free-running platformer set in Detroit. That's coming May 19th. The demo is out today, which is really cool. The game looks really cool. We got Last Stop from Annapurna Interactive. That's coming July 2021. Hindsight from Annapurna Interactive. That's coming later this year. Ollie Ollie World. That comes this winter and looks really cool. The Longing. That's out later today. There is no game. Wrong Dimension. That is the name of that is the title of the game. It's a comedy game that looks like a bunch of other games mashed up together. That's out later today.
Let me just say the Link to the Past fake one that they have in there. It looks like I want that to be a real game. So make that a real game too.
I can't wait to get my hands on this because this actually does look really cool. There is no game. Wrong Dimension. I want to try that out to see what it's about because there was another game that came out last year and I do not remember the name of it, but it had a similar concept of the name was on the tip of my brain right there and I couldn't pull it.
Are you talking about No More Heroes 3?
No, I'm not.
That hasn't come out yet.
It was a game where you would combine two like retro styles together, like two retro genres together, and it would give birth to a new game that you would play. And it was not that fun. I didn't enjoy it as much. But this has what looks like a similar concept, and I hope this one hits. We got a new trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. That game comes out later this year. We got Chris Tales, that's coming out July 20th. Getsu Fumaden, Undying Moon, that's coming out next year. We got a really cool game called Aztec Forgotten Gods, that's out fall 2021. We also got Skull, the Hero Slayer, that's an action platformer roguelite where you swap abilities by swapping skulls. That's out summer 2021. And this is all for Switch, as a reminder. This is Nintendo's Indie World. And then we got a montage with Fez, Art of Rally, Kiwi, Labyrinth City, Weaving Tides, House of the Dead Remake, Ender Lines, and then Beats of Maravilla. And then we got an Indie World sale that's happening on the Switch later today, and then it finalized with Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. That's out 2021.
Everybody
Andy?
go play Fez. It's free, or it's not free, but it's out today. I'll buy it for you. Just kidding, I won't.
We did our reactions to
Wow.
this. That'll be available later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
It's
But,
up right now.
Oh, it's up right now. Holy cow! So you can
Fast,
go over there, Jim Ryan, who's listening right now, right? Drinking the nerds candy out of the Sonic
Cherry
cup.
limeade.
You can pull over, watch our reactions right now.
Mhm.
Andy, what were your overall feelings? Like, what were your standouts out of this Indie World Showcase?
I thought it was a fun ass showcase. Top to bottom, I had a blast with it. There was a lot of really neat titles announced and shown. Aztec Forgotten Gods definitely blew me away. The idea of it being this sort of cyberpunk futuristic Aztec game, the technology and just the visuals of it look just totally up my alley. Skull looks fun as hell. I do like I'm just a sucker for pixel side scrollers. And Oxenfree 2 was a really cool reveal. I'm really happy that the hardcore Oxenfree fans are going to be getting that. The art style in Ollie Ollie World looked phenomenal. Yeah, this is just a solid ass show, front to back.
Yeah, it was really awesome. It was one of the few times during a showcase like this where every single game to me just looked cool at the very least, right? Like,
Of
it
course,
wasn't like
Ninja Turtles. Of course, Ninja.
Oh yeah,
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles also. Like, I'm not gonna play every single one of these games, obviously, but there was something about each and every one of them that had me go, "Fuck, that's actually a really cool idea," or "Fuck,
Yeah.
this has a really cool art style." Ollie Ollie World sold me. Like, I definitely want to try that game out because it looks like a nice
Evolution almost.
evolution. Yeah, that's the word. From Ollie Ollie. And then Aerial Knights Never Yield is definitely a standout. That game looked really cool, and so I'm looking forward to that game. But Andy, the release of that game, it's just so far away. May 19th. If I went to what's coming out to mom and grab shops today, where'd I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah, Jeff Grubb is old.
Out today, we got Night Squad 2 for Xbox One, Switch, and PC, Cannon Brawl for Switch, Tesso Miyake Behind the Twilight for PC, Kingdom of Arcadia for Switch, Reactor X for Switch, Isolamus for Switch, Park Inc. for Switch, Tailspire for PC, and Forgotten Fields for PC. A couple of new dates for you. You got Picross S6. That's launching on April 22nd. And then King of Seas will be launching from a port near you on May 25th, 2021. This action-packed seafaring adventure will be available for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Andy, people can go over to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where they can write in and let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Let's see here. All right. That is missed news that is based on a rumor, and so I'm going to skip that one. If it's important, we'll tackle it tomorrow.
Go ahead and skip it. While you're looking, everybody go download. Go buy Fez, please. The game is 9 years old, so ahead of its time in terms of just 2D, what you could do in a 2D sort of game.
So
But
would you say
3D?
it's part of the current time?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Game Jumper X writes in to tell me how caffeine works. He says, "Bless, caffeine builds up in your system, so the same amount can affect you differently. If you consume caffeine faster than your body can process, it starts to build up, and the same amount will feel like more. Your body can also build up tolerance where it takes you more for the same effect. And so it's because I'm drinking the caffeine too fast, which is then causing that blessing is on cocaine effect.
Oh, got it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You gotta slow down. You gotta.
I gotta savor it.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point, because usually when I'm drinking iced coffee, I usually do drink it slower in the morning. But I think because of the Indie World Showcase, I definitely went a little bit harder on it. And I have no regrets. Nanobologist says, "Bless, the game you're thinking of is Super Mash, and you are indeed correct. It is Super Mash. Thank you for that."
Thank you, Nano.
I don't even know if I'm going to read this one. Average Bearded Consumer says, Bless stated good luck at bingo, insinuating that Cracker Barrel has bingo, but they do not. They have big checkerboards, which, you know what? Touche. I was joking about the Cracker Barrel bingo thing, but I do like the idea that Jeff Grubb is at Cracker Barrel, right? Eating his early bird special that he got at 6 a.m. because that's a thing he does every weekday. Because Jeff Grubb, as we know, is one of them oldies, right?
So old.
They have
old.
They got a bunch of
He's
nice little
playing checkers.
knickknacks. I know. Look at all of us young kids. We're all so young and vibrant. I'm young too,
Yeah.
just like you guys are.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
You want to
Andy,
you
How
want to
old
come
are
on
you?
Kind of Funny Next Gen, Andy? You're so fucking
23.
young,
I
bro.
would love to. Yeah, we're
dude,
just so
let's do
young.
it.
We're the youth.
Hell yeah. That's it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tomorrow's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily are Greg and Tim. Then following that on Friday, you're getting Greg and Andrea Renee. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, after this is Mike, Greg, and Kev playing some of that SWTOR, Star Wars The Old Republic. Of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames, so stick around for that. Otherwise, till next time, have fun at bingo, Jeff Grubb.
Joey said Grubb's about to put Blessing's funeral on Summer Game Mass calendar. Bye, everybody.